Alrighty then, onwards to the next part. We are on to Jackalore, and let's see. It would probably be the Ravnos that shows up next, simply because the last sciencey slash important person from the Independence would take her time deciding if she wants to go.
Mm-hmm.
So, sure. I assume you're willing to promise him safe passage?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
It was. I would have included it in both of the letters.
Okay.
All three of them.
Then, I believe Ravno's clan flaw requires a self-control roll.
They do.
Is it a continuous
do,
roll till 5?
No, I don't think so. They just need to make one roll if I remember right.
Okay, then he just heads on up towards your office.
Down.
Well, down, but he thinks he's going up, so... Just
The thought that counts.
walks in, sits down. So, why am I here?
Good evening. I don't right down to business. From what I understand, you have a lot of business interests.
Yeah, I do. Frankly, I was, expecting the prince to call me first.
I'm sure the prince has other important matters to attend to. handing out minor titles to everybody.
Those weren't exactly minor.
Yeah, I know.
That's like designated regent minor.
Like that ever comes up, am I right? Anyway, I would like to enter a business agreement with you. I, after all, also have a lot of business interests in the city.
Oh. Well, what in particular do you have in mind?
Cooperation.
In what particular way?
As much as possible between the both of us.
I'm still not hearing a specific offer. Frankly, I don't think you have an established foothold specifically in this city. Do I expect you have resources of your own? The wall consumes your clone. The chantry has been fed.
Out of character, what exactly do I have as far as in the city, as far as resources are concerned?
Generally speaking, you would be in the process of liquidating your assets elsewhere and buying likely businesses near here that you can control more directly and manage more efficiently. Because, well, the Sabbat would have fucked any holdings you had here.
Yeah, true. Well, for one, cutting off the city so that we both know where we both want our business interests and where we don't want each other to so that we don't step on each other's toes.
Interesting. And what
And
is
also,
it in particular that interests you?
In this case, so some of the shipping industry.
See, I'm not sure that would work for me or the prince. I believe a large chunk of that is already taken up. Given that, you know, the Sabbat wanted to control people coming in and out of the city, they in particular had a lot of financial control over those areas as well. After all, that's why this place was needed to launch your takeover, wasn't it?
No comment.
Do you appreciate frank talk, Regent? Oh, he's certainly willing to wait the silence out. Jackalor, are you still there?
I was expecting him to respond.
Oh no, he just asked if you value frank talk, and he's waiting for you to respond to that.
Didn't you hear me say yes?
Oh,
No.
are you?
God damn it. Yes, I did say yes, I do.
Well then, Regent, the truth of the matter is that the shipping is, well, not completely divided up. It would be the natural area for either me or most likely the prince to expand into. And, well, let's put it this way. He is large enough and powerful enough in various ways for me to be willing to cede that sphere of influence to him, at least in terms of new expansions. But I'm not sure that you are. Especially as you are a new player on that field entirely. Essentially, he's hinting at the fact that he's richer than you, as is Bacon.
Do I know if Bacon is actually richer than me?
Seizing the Sabbat financial resources was part of the campaign, and those largely ended up in the prince's hands.
Yeah, assumed as much. Well, what about starting up new business in the city? Would you be interested in us cooperating with that?
Certainly. I'm sure you have skills, which I personally don't have. What do you have in mind?
Industry, mainly.
What, like baseball cards?
I have no idea what that is.
Well, Epic, would you explain to Jackalor what a baseball card is?
I know what a baseball card is, IRL. I don't know. I don't think he'd know in character.
He might not, actually.
Yeah.
To be fair, he's talking on quite a few subjects. I'm not sure he has too much of a lean on.
He gets like every decade a synopsis of the news from the last decade. So he just reads through that. So he just finished reading about the peace after World War II and the start of the Cold War. He's waiting for this decade's one with impatience. So he at the very least knows that baseball is a thing.
Anyway, I was more thinking of industrial goods. Possibly even starting up a local firearms factory. I don't know if that's even possible out of character. I have no fucking clue what I'm doing.
He's throwing stuff at him. Please take something.
I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what the fuck industry is.
He leans
I don't
forward.
know what.
Hmm.
All I know.
Do you have influence then in the government to acquire us the appropriate permits? She's just like, help! Help! Alarm! Abort! Abort! Make a manipulation subterfuge at 7 to conceal just how little you know about business. Or at least more modern types of business. Okay.
Yay.
So
well
you're
reasoned.
not... Okay, so yes, that would be 4, which is enough to make him think that you know what you're talking about instead of stalking out in disgust.
I have no clue what I'm doing.
Police can has politics. Give money. Give money blocks. I must say, firearms can be a lucrative business, but government oversight and safety regulations cut into the profit margin a great deal. I do believe Tremere clan are good at making people dance to their tune.
Indeed.
Then again, what is your plan for acquiring the specific regulations, assuming that I was willing to provide the capital and the financial acumen? I mean, it's gunpowder, Keegan. There's gonna be some safety regulation on munitions. Besides, army doesn't want guns to explode in people's faces.
Yeah. Yeah. You know? I am...
You can make a wits law roll if you have law to try and figure out how you could go about making sure all the permits go through.
I do have law. It's just with law roll is difficult. Is 3 in total.
You might succeed.
I mean, I'll fucking try. Difficulty 6.
Yes.
Don't worry.
Yay!
You're doing great.
I know where to go.
I see. Well, that is not particularly insightful, but I suppose you were not completely unaware of the complexities involved. Jackalor wants to make an arms factory with the Rovnos.
And I think he just kind of stated that just to try and do something with the rest of this.
I don't know. Fuck it. We need something to be able to chain him to the city so he doesn't instantly flip when anything goes bad.
Oh, so
I
this
think
is...
he's going to flip if things go bad regardless.
So this is altruism, right? Sure.
Yeah, totally.
The problem is his wits law roll is better and he has more law than you.
Yes. I mean, the main thing I can do is telepathy and dominate. So.
Well, you would know where to find the books on the appropriate laws and start going through them. With one success, you don't specifically know who to go to immediately.
Yeah.
You know where to go looking for information on the specifics. Well, that could potentially work, but at the same time, the prince is a Ventru, he will probably have a better understanding, or people with a better understanding where to go, and he has more resources to work with. Whereas I'm familiar with the city, it seems a far more natural alliance. Besides, I'm sure the prince would appreciate being in control of any local firearms production. To put it in other terms, I appreciate your offer, but what? Let's put this in business terms. Why should I partner with you rather than with any of the other options? What makes you different? What makes you stand out?
Let's see. Do I want to pull up card? Fuck it. I have thaumaturgy, and the thaumaturgical rituals can and will aid in many things, even in business.
Really? Well, I can create illusions which are exceptionally useful for the purposes of blackmail.
We having a boner measuring contest here?
I don't get why he said that. Again.
Well, it sounds like, oh yes, I have thaumaturgy, unspecified powers. Ooh, it's like, bitch, really?
I don't think he gets what frank speak actually is at this point.
No, probably don't. I don't understand this person.
To put it simply, he wants you to tell him what you can do for him. All he's hearing is what he can do for you so far.
Basically, being vague about this is not what he's here for, and you are basically avoiding anything concrete. Unlike the other gal who was more than willing to go with some of this, this guy actually wants answers.
He did not get
Answers.
what money he has by being a little bitch about it. He doesn't want to lose what he has managed to build up. And he's not exactly stupid either.
Being frank over an American actually just means being very, very blunt. Not sure if that's still different anywhere else, but that franks were a term for French. Yes, Bacon.
Do you have anything to add, Jackalor?
It's an entire failure. Pretty much an entire failure.
I mean, you do have things to offer, but... in theory at
Why
least, but...
I don't think I want to offer all of them. Yeah. Oh well.
Well, eventually, after waiting for you to add anything else for a minute or two, he gets up, offers his head, and says, well, I will certainly keep your offer in mind, and I will get back to you.
I'll be sure to let him out just fine.
Mm-hmm. Just walks out. God fucking damn it, Tremere wasted an entire night on this shit. What the fuck? So, Bacon, you wanted to meet with the Kia Seed. Bacon, are you muted?
Oh, yeah, I was muted. Sorry about that. Yes, I wanted with her.
Okay. So, she arrives. Yes, in your case, she certainly would bow. Without groveling, but just politely.
It's a good thing. Uh, I already know her name, right?
Sure. Someone would have told you.
So, Miss Bell, I invited you here because I want your help on a very special matter.
Certainly, sir. How can I help?
You see, I want to define what parts of the city aren't to be interfered on the uh, magical sense. I believe that you could see them and inform me of places that have magical creatures that should not be interfered with.
I suppose I could, but that would be dangerous. And there's that curl at the end of that sentence, like, what the fuck am I getting out of this?
Out of character. Uh, Before we decided that we would have some independent on the Primogen Council, right?
It was raised in discussions out of character, but I don't think you decided on someone specific when you decided on the base composition of the council in the intro.
I
Yes,
thought we did, and I thought we decided on the Kiasid girl, actually.
yeah.
Jyhad, yeah.
I mean, if you want to bring her into that, then certainly.
So, I'm trying to give some in up. What is the no?
Opportunities?
Yes, opportunities for the independence on the city. So, how do you like to represent the independence on the Primogen Council?
Um, would I have full voting rights on said council?
Yes, like all the other Primogens.
The problem is that this puts me in a position where I have a lot of independence to herd without any real ties of blood to
Well,
necessarily,
actually,
well,
would
enforce
be
any
only
kind of control.
it would be only three, and one of them won't even try to bother with uh, the these things.
Well, there's Jimmy and there's Charlie and I think Mary's still in town as well.
Yes. Uh, well, you think that it's something that you would not like? What else would you suggest?
Well, that's an interesting proposition. I don't suppose you would be willing to grant me a favor to be named later?
How big the favor are we talking about?
Essentially, out of character, it would be a minor boon.
Oh, yeah, he would do for a minor boon.
Then she promises to, in the next couple weeks or next month or so, just drive around the city and try and detect any hotspots that you should be aware of. And yeah, that... Well, I am gonna roll perception investigation off screen to see if she gets some of the outlying ones, but yeah. she's certainly gonna... Oh boy. Fuck, her perception is crap, and her investigation is non-existent. But she'll certainly look.
We should just ask her help with. Could they just roll perception and empathy to realize that she's not good at perception?
You
I
wouldn't
might
be
actually.
able... You wouldn't necessarily be able
Alright,
to tell because she's determined to do a good job and if necessary make up the difference with willpower.
Oh,
Yeah.
so it's fine.
Does that possibly affect Jackler's previous thing? That makes it sound like she wouldn't be particularly good at actually knowing where they are.
She
around.
has been here for a while and she can just see that through forms, so...
Okay.
The changelings, at least, especially if she's studying them specifically, she would know where they are. She would know.
She might. Yeah. She
She's
might
the
not
one
be able-
person that
yeah.
would. Well, I can highlight at least one hotspot for you right away, sir. I believe it's in Fillmore that ferries frequent on occasion. I have certainly seen a few around there.
Oh, that's in character.
And suddenly there's an oh fuck moment in the prince's brain. What have I done?
He just slowly put his hand on his head. Oh, okay. How would you classify this hotspot? It's something too troublesome? Would any negative consequences come from this?
Well, as long as nobody eats a fairy, we should be okay.
Oh,
If they do, then we're gonna have a vampire probably looking for more and trying to get high off of drinking them, and then trying to exterminate every vampire they can find. And they do have some dangerous powers.
By the way, this makes my character look like a master manipulator. It's great.
Their
Yeah,
power...
St. Anthony is great. You know what? Fillmore would work too.
She continues. Their power does fluctuate with decades and centuries, and right now it's not particularly high, so they aren't they aren't as numerous or as powerful as they might have been at some points in history, but there's nothing to say the mystical climate might not shift in their favor in the coming decades.
thank you for this information.
And I'm pretty
very-
sure there's lupines to the southeast somewhere. The Sabbat. Yeah, they didn't really go in that direction all that much. Apparently, people don't tend to come back from there. But I don't know specific locations.
That would be south of the river.
South of the river, just north of the Mississippi, in fact. Somewhere out towards the outskirts. But I suppose a werewolf could easily cross the lake towards Venetian Isles as well. So Debbie, your gangrel now surround werewolf territory. Congratulations.
Sweet.
Now those
Yeah,
give
that was
really good sport, I hear.
Gonna bear hug one to death.
Your strength
Medium to
sucks.
strength.
You would need to take Protean 4 forms.
Ah! Yeah, I'm literally going to bear hug them.
Other than that, you get the usual random supernaturals going through.
No?
In the decades, I might have seen a mage once or twice. Werewolves trying to pass unnoticed once or twice as well in the city, but the ones that come in here generally don't cause as much trouble as the ones out in the wild because they don't want to get stabbed. They seem to recognize that we have the advantage in the city.
It's a good thing. Well, I already thank you for this very useful information, and I wish you luck on searching the city.
Mm-hmm. I will try to pinpoint you specific locations, but if it's my hide on the line, I'm not gonna risk final death for this, just so you're aware, sir.
Would you like an escort?
Certainly, if you can spare someone. Preferably some silver bullets as well.
I think I could manage. Which one is the good with that is good with weapons?
Both of
Which
them
one
are
are
good with
both?
weapons. One of them firearms, one of them melee.
Yeah, firearms.
Just load him up with a heavy revolver. Ready to go.
And silver bullets also.
Where are you gonna get silver bullets? Cause Jackalor stores are out. And you never found any Sabat stashes on Arsenal specifically.
Andy, melt the cutlery. We need silver bullets.
She just go, you see the beginnings of a facepalm and then she yanks her hand back down like, sir, that won't be necessary. I know someone who can help, but she will require payment.
Oh, then my girl could handle that. Parting you.
Mm-hmm. So you just assign her like $1,000 for a silver bullets or something, I assume.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just 3 zeros, not that much.
So yeah, she would be able to arrange that and go scouting for nodes.
Fucking hell. That's not what I wanted. You wanted not scout for those.
Apparently the prince feels like he should, no. And Karak, Salubri survivors not so much. It's the Zamits in particular he's pissed off. And the werewolves. And actually a little bit the gangrel. And the list goes on, actually. Don't you have clan enmity gangrel, actually?
It does.
It does,
Oh, it
if I
does.
remember right. I like it.
I have.
Yeah.
I have planned anything I know.
So words will be had. Meanwhile, Gangrel's patting Demi on the back. Don't cry, Teddy. Don't cry. I'm here. I'll protect you.
Alcavian.
She's just
Yeah.
like, make it stop. Okay. So yeah, given that she has a large amount of time, she will mostly focus first of all on the city center and sweep it for any obvious hotspots. And then try and get a glimpse of where exactly the nodes are, but you know, she's gonna be careful about that in the werewolf territory. The
That's
Nosferatu
fine,
are
too.
right next to werewolf land.
What could possibly go wrong?
Sometimes.
One of them walks into Elysium holding a bear trap. What the fuck is this? Who did this? La Sombra, yes. Black Spiral Dancers, yes. Together, probably not. Halfdan, the Teddy Bergdahl. Okay, does anyone else have any more meetings we wish to address specifically? You had a third one, Jekyll. What about you, Demi? Do you have anyone you want to talk with or something specific you want to do?
I wasn't really thinking anything that much, except maybe trying to like socialize with like the Kristen Hines and Archie Briggs from my clan. Sort of get to know each other even more, and tell them the news that we have Navarre Fairgrounds and the Venetian Isles over there to now have to get around to.
Okay. Demi, why don't
Yes.
you give me a luck die? 1 to 10. Okay. Actually, you called a meeting and a third gangrel shows up. Apparently, he was
Oh.
in the area.
Oh, I'll introduce myself then. Well, you're a new face. The name's Halfdan. What's yours?
He doesn't have a name. He's a random that might become a permanent fixture if you want to spring an extra gangrel on the prince and he wants to stay. But essentially, there is a chance for you to show off your skills. Because when people travel this area, they don't give a fuck about the prince, but they will check in with you.
I mean, I was mostly, first of all, like, I'll show this new game girl, a bit around after talking to first a little bit to my game girl friends, and seeing that if they want to sort of, since I have the city park, do any of them want to maybe have much more of a hold on maybe Navarre Fairgrounds or even the Venetian Isles over there, depending, where they want to maybe.
Right now, they're good. Archie has his own territory. Kristen would probably happily take an area for herself. Probably not out in the swamps necessarily, not yet anyway. Actually, she has Protean 3. Yeah, she'll go visit the swamps for a couple of weeks. See if it's fun there.
Yeah, okay, that's gonna be sweet. And then after going about that, probably just going up with some small talk and self-meeting, sort of like hanging out with the new gangrel as well, trying to see what he's been up to, where he's been.
Oh, Demi, you get to make a performance check for the usual exchange of tales that gangrel have.
Yeah.
To see how impressive you are. So give us charisma performance at 4 given your enchanting voice.
Yeah.
And Scald, did that give you additional things on top? That gave you memorizations.
Yeah, I had better memorization of the poets and whatnot, but it gave me 1 extra die when I did intelligence occult rolls on kindred lore.
Okay. Then, go ahead and give me charisma performance.
Been related to kindred lore, not like the skill itself.
Anyways, since I will be telling tales and I feel like that's really my character, I want to spend a willpower point if possible.
Do you? Aren't you confident in your abilities?
No. It's not that I'm not confident in my abilities. It's I'm putting my soul into it even more, if you understand.
Okay, that makes sense. You may proceed. Fire
Okay.
at will. So that would be 6.
Yeah.
Great. Amazing.
Yeah, I might just make another neonate gangrel for next session and just like 2 months later, oh yeah, by the way, Prince, I've been in the city for a while. I thought I would show myself. Bacon's like,
I mean,
motherfucker, Primogen?
What up? Yeah, I'd gladly accept him. I mean, if he's a cool guy, that is.
He's mostly
Are you
just
one
like,
Cool Kids Club?
he doesn't necessarily show that much of himself, but just mostly looking around for now, like, you know, ooh, you know.
Right.
I'll let you know what he's like once I make a sheet, and then you can decide if you want to encourage him to stay around. Or
Sure.
encourage him to get moving. Because right now he's like, I might stay for a while, I might move on.
Yeah.
Alrighty, so, Epic, you wanted to get very familiar with the city, you said. What in particular
Yes.
do you have in mind?
Well, generally, getting to know how the government is set up, things like that. Anything I'm missing from doing the Sabat siege, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Making sure that I know all the inner workings of what's going on here.
That sounds like perception investigation or perception politics, whichever is higher, but I
Yes.
will make the difficulty 5 for you, because you have a fuck ton of powers, and this is gonna go relatively quickly for you. So probably perception politics.
Either way, they're the same, if I remember right.
They're not.
I have another dot in politics. I did have another dot.
Yes.
Alright,
So,
roll again.
yep.
Much worse. As I expected.
You know, it's the Malkavians. They keep asking if you want to take a turn with Teddy and keep telling you how amazing he is and how cuddly.
I'll have my turn eventually.
Yes.
There's a certain, you know, it's they don't break character, but somehow you can tell that, you know, he needs to never forget.
But yeah. Up my investigation. Called on all the time.
Mm-hmm. So, Jackalor, you wanted a third meeting.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Then, eventually, she does in fact arrive and walks on in and, you know, says hi, sits down.
Good evening, Miss Wright.
Good evening, Regent. So, you wish to discuss something?
Well, yes. I have heard you are a scientist of sorts.
Yes, I am. Mostly dealing with, the effects of heat on local weather patterns, high, high density fronts, the movement of metal through the air at high speeds, and generally the chemical reactions that are the cause of this.
Did you just describe firearms?
That or
Do you know?
explosives! That or explosives, Jackalor.
Oh. Is it too intrusive to ask for your clan? I don't think I ever caught that.
Certainly I have no reason to hide. I am of the Bruja. I assume you want to test that hypothesis?
Anyway, so explosives.
In layman's terms, that might be part of what I concern myself with, yes. Did you have something in specific you wanted to arrange?
Well, came to mind. I might want some of those.
Certainly.
Is
As soon as the prince approves the sale of such materials, I will be happy to provide you with as much as you require.
I might be willing to talk to the prince about letting you sell those.
Oh, I'm sure the prince would let me sell those, to him at the very least. It's more a
Yes,
question of who
but-
he is willing to let have materials like that.
Mm-hmm. Maybe I'll see about talking to him about making you have a more free reign over who you can sell those explosives to.
Ah, if you wish, but you shouldn't concern yourself. I have no need of assistance in this matter.
If you say so.
Yeah, she can see you trying to fish for a favor over her. She's like, nah, I'm good.
Of course, if you ever need any magical or occult assistance, you know where to come.
Certainly. Now, is there anything else? I believe the prince has already placed an order for some armaments, and I would like to get it done as soon as possible.
Of course. I'll let you go.
Just casually name drop that she has an in with the prince. Walk out. Fuck you!
Oh.
Is that a sad jackalope I hear?
Now I have to actually talk to Bacon.
The bitch won't fucking sell to you on the down low. God damn it.
I think you might be gaining a bit of a reputation at this point.
I mean, the independents all probably know each other, so there might be a... Did he try to get... The Redo's like, I agreed to nothing. Kiesi just tries to shrink into the shadows.
I'm not sure the Kia Seed would be so happy if she learned who he is.
I mean, she has probably heard something in passing, maybe. But Kia Seed are notorious loners. So...
Yep. I know.
And she doesn't know that he fucked her already, so... For someone like him, that's essentially a one-dot enemy. Someone that
Yeah,
can
totally.
fuck with you, but not really hurt you outright. Unless you're really stupid.
Oh no. He's totally got her convinced. He's totally just doing this for self-defense.
I mean, I am trying for that one. I'm trying to do for self-defense. The others, not so much.
Meanwhile, her knowledge of just how amazing fairy blood is supposed to be and exactly where to find them just keeps pulsing in your mind. You could just snap out one night and it would be so easy.
Oh.
So very easy.
I mean, I'll be honest, from what you've had of your character, it would make complete sense for you to go and kidnap a few of them and experiment on them.
I hate to
I don't
say
feel
this,
like-
Jackalore, but if you had a flesh crafter at your disposal, you might try and craft one of them into a essentially vitae spigot.
Uh,
I'm not
if I know
saying
they're not going to be a threat, maybe, but right now I don't even know if they're going to be a threat or not.
You didn't even know they really were a thing, particularly until you asked about them there, as far as I know.
he has like 6 occult. He knows that they at least used to exist.
No, not existence. The fact that they are here in this city and have any kind of real
I mean,
presence.
considering there's a Kia seed, considering how closely they often are connected to this shit, yeah, it's
Considering
worth
that the
it.
Kia Seed stayed here throughout the Civil War and the Camarilla takeover,
Yep.
Yeah, that is a bit of a hint there, but yeah, just saying.
Also, I might
Usually
have.
they're not a big
Also,
deal. So
yeah, I did roll something where it's like, might want to check that out.
yes, Jackalord did roll to notice the existence of other nodes in the city. He even has a rough idea where some of them are.
oh, cool.
That being, by
Well,
the
the prince will
way,
know that too.
did not point towards the Malk area.
You don't know.
You don't know about those specifically unless that happens to get back to you from Prince Bacon. The Malks are eventually gonna notice that sometimes weird people are walking around. It's only a matter of time. That mist bullshit don't work on Malk mind. So,
They'll have nice supernatural housemates.
so then, moving on to Bacon. Anything else you wanted to handle or wanted to talk to?
I think that now I should have the conversation with about finances with Jimmy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he will. God damn it. Accidentally deleted the prince. Oh no! Chaos reigns! Who will take the reins? It's all falling apart!
Quick, kick Demi in the seat.
He'll fit his prince as much as the fucking potatoes.
Oh, right, no.
Quick, kick the Ravnos into the prince's seat.
Oh god, that's worse.
Yeah. Jimmy walks in. Makes an elegant bow and waits for you to address him.
So, Mr. Seward, I think that as the two major monetary owners of this town, we should talk about how to build it or to turn it on something great.
Yes, the Tribune Regent wanted to tap into my wealth to get a share in arms production. Strangely enough, he didn't have anything to actually offer and he thought to confuse me with a few flowery words, but I knew from the start that you would be a better partner. The idea of a firearms factory, though, might be a good one, and it would allow you, my prince, easy access to armaments as well.
Yes, it's a good idea. I was not exactly sure on how to expand on the city, as it's not growing as the others of the region, and tourism seems to be the major part of the economy here.
I
Maybe
think
some,
that would require a perception finance roll, provided you have finance.
wouldn't Andy do a report to me every day about the state of the city and stuff like that?
Would you have asked him to?
Yes. I mean, I suppose that my common sense would tell me to ask the guy that knows about finances the state of the city.
Yeah, then you know. Andy, with 4 successes, would be able to tell you the reasons. City needs a kick in the pants, hard.
But do you know anyone that uh, works with armaments that know how to produce and has all the adequate documents to make it?
Not specifically on the documents part, though I do know someone who might be able to advise on the production. But I'm not sure if she works specifically with making guns, as it were. But certainly
yeah.
some other types of weapons she can make.
I already know that she can make silver ammunition if you are talking about Mary.
Yes, indeed. Either way, it's easy enough to hire mortal experts. That's not the problem. The problem is smoothing the way either with bribes or with disciplines. And generally speaking, we need to know which mortals to pull the strings of because the mortals are well and deeply into the same business as well, and we need something to move them out of the way.
Dude. I don't think that I have anyone capable of tracking them, but if we manage to find the key mortals, I could easily dominate them to our side. Or you could force some bribery with them using our illusions.
Do you have a cult? Do you know how illusions work?
I mean, he just makes stuff appear of nothing. I'm pretty sure that's how gypsies work. And I roll academics.
I. That's the thing. I'm not sure you would have run into a lot of Ravnos directly, which is why I'm asking because Zamitsi,
Yeah.
sure, you would know for a fact. La Sombra as well. Someone like him, less so, because that's not something you would have had a lot of contact with.
So maybe politics to know that they usually do stuff like that.
But he would essentially inform you that he's capable of doing that, and that's part of his success, that he can produce blackmail at the right time to undermine someone.
Okay. So you that wasn't easy for more time. Do you know any key targets on the financial market?
I have an idea as to who might be involved, but generally speaking, we would want an expert who moves in those same circles, I expect.
Could try to talk with the one of the Toreador. I got him on my good side, and he usually deals with high society.
Now, there is also the question of how we would divide the profits and who exactly would get a share. Frankly, I would prefer if it was just the two of us dividing the lion's share between us, rather than bringing in more partners that would require a share of their own. If anything,
Think that
it's cheaper to pay someone off once rather than sharing profits with them forever.
yes, that's a good point. We should try and then find some mortal experts on the armament industry if we don't want to make Mary our key employee.
Mm-hmm. Well, we can always try and poach someone from a nearby city. We just need to find someone that already has mortals running armaments. And then we can just grab them. Assuming you're willing to annoy one of the nearby princes.
Oh, depends on the prince.
Well, we would need to find where actual existing armaments factories are, if there are any in the area. And that is how the war with the nearby Camarilla cities started.
I'm hoping that this naval city that has weapons.
I don't know, I would have to Google that.
So, is your meeting over, or are you still going through there?
I'm gonna assume that they just talk about potential ways to move forward and agreed principle as to, making this a business venture. How do you want to divide the spoils, Bacon?
Well, since it's my city, I would propose something like 55-45, as I would probably be the one that would dominate the mortals and keep authorities out of.
That's incredibly fucking.
As long as the capital investment is about equal, he's willing to accept that. Seems perfectly fine to him.
He would do equal capital investment. Look, maybe this city won't go to shit yet.
Okay, so equal investment, 55 in your favor. If you pull this off and manage to build a major factory here without the rival princess sabotaging you because you're an asshole, that's gonna help a lot.
I feel sad. Prince
Intro
forgot all
idea.
about Vivian. She's very good at finding people like this.
Yeah, give power on the industry to the Malkavian.
Yeah, no, she's elder enough to demand an equal share or major favors or something for this. And she might be unhappy about making implements of that in the first place. This sounds chancy to me. I'm glad Bacon
does.
doesn't go for
I'm just
it.
pointing out that you totally do actually know somebody that could do it. It's just that you probably don't want them to do it.
Yeah, you could just ask, but
You do have ventral mooks who might have high enough rolls on law to be able to figure out what regulations would be involved and high enough rolls in politics potentially to figure out who would need to be bribed. Your own clan is... Gretchen's in charge and she's more of a... less warrior-y Ventru, but you are her elder and outrank her massively. If you tell her to get it done, she probably will.
yeah, I was thinking on contacting her later.
Okay. So, any last things you want to wrap up? Because I think we need to move on to handing out experience and things like that.
Well, my character's just gonna continue getting to know the city until she knows it really well.
Mm-hmm. Bureaucracy.
I'm gonna need to know who holds what titles, what they're in charge of, all that bullshit. But hey, once I at least get to know their rooms, I can figure out who replaces them in a few years.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So, yeah. Nothing in character-wise that needs to be handled. Demi screams internally.
Continue my Malix. I'll visit him in fact, I'll just visit him last. Just wait till everyone else has their turns.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the Melks are gonna mention you as they're giving you a turn a while later, like that Teddy has a new baby puppy with him.
Yay!
Oh no.
Are they trained?
Partially, they seem to listen to Teddy.
Oh no,
Oh, if they listen to Teddy, they are plenty good.
It's
I
like
need to get the unit out.
it's like they seem half trained. I hope they don't piddle on our prizes. Oh no, Elder, you did not mention that you're neighboring with the Malks. What have we done?
We've done nothing wrong.
Stand firm! Stand firm! Wait till you see the
Yeah.
whites of their eyes.
Then cuddle them hard.
Wait, what? Oh shit, they
What?
got to you.
We still have some new people watching? Nah, they must have probably left.
Some people popped in. I think one or two of them even joined the Discord. Think I see a new
really?
name in there. Or two even. Oh yeah, Total Hatred definitely joined the Discord.
Oh yeah. And,
MC Tom
yeah,
did as
MC.
well. So yeah.
Dude.
I think a bunch of people left to watch Kelvin's stream.
Yeah. Well, mostly the ones close to us.
Yeah, fuck those guys.
Fuck those guys.
Well, I was just gonna give a quick and brief overview of, my character if they were still around, because, she has some real bullshit shit.
Well, that's what
Or why
all
she's
the
able to
character
watch, yeah.
creation and character prep stuff is there. If everyone wants to
Yep.
look that up, that's why it's there.
Yeah.
And
Just in case they got confused on, oh, how is she doing all this? Trust me. Lots of ways.
yeah, so experience-wise, for now, I'm gonna give each of you one base. In terms of willpower, elders are more static creatures, so unless significant periods pass and you're specifically resting, you're just gonna be regaining one per session, more or less the usual way. Let's see. Let's phrase the willpower question for this week, and I'm gonna be changing the way I phrase these questions and what I ask from week to week.
Yep. Go ahead.
How do the recent happenings reinforce your character's established way of doing things?
Well, one by one.
You can go first, Epic.
Sure. Trying to achieve some form of equilibrium for all has obviously reminded me of the days where the Malkavians, when getting together, could actually throw some really good stuff around.
You actually have an organization, in other words, behind your efforts to help people.
Basically.
Fucking Malk Mafia. Shit. What have you done?
Our havens are everywhere. We have eyes everywhere. We see you when you're hiding. We see you when you're asleep. There's
We
no
know
way
if
to
you've
get
we know if you've been good. Or
Or
however.
bad.
Okay. Jackalor.
Yeah. I don't. Yeah. I mean, he learned. He learned quite a few things. He learned a few things while not actually revealing much himself. So I think that stands how he does has been doing things for a long time now.
Okay, so in other words, you feel like you've gained some levers on people.
Yeah.
Okay. Bacon.
What exactly was the question?
How have recent happenings reinforced your established way of doing things? Or convince you that it's the right way or fit in with that?
Yeah, his way of rule of just delegating stuff to others and using his authority to make measure decisions. It seems to be working.
Okay. So the classic Ventro approach apparently on occasion works when everyone is scared shitless of you bending metal bars in your hands. Okay! And half done.
Let's see if I get this right. So what Halvdan would probably have, established his way of doing things is, well, as he's always done, been free, sort of carefree. He's made a bunch of new friends, cuddled with a lot of people, just doing what he wants, really.
Okay, counter
Nothing
question.
really empowered.
Counter question. Is the Malks cuddling with you really a good thing and, more importantly, a empowering thing for your character? Or does he feel like he's losing control because of it?
I don't really mind the Malkavians cuddling me, if that's what you're asking.
Okay, so we're establishing Halfdan as someone who doesn't really give a fuck about being, paranoid about his sleeping place.
I'm not paranoid at all. I might sort of gained from that introspect, I might have gained a sort of sense of small little bit of overconfidence, to sort of say, because of how beefy I've become, that I really don't care at the point. But other than that, yeah.
Okay. Alright. Then, how do I wish to phrase the experience points? How about this? How have your established views and ways of doing things been challenged this session? Epic, once again, you may go first if you wish.
Oh, wait, what was the question?
How have your established ways of doing things and viewing things been challenged this session?
Let's see. Been particularly challenged for how she's established things. Let's see. That didn't get discarded. That didn't get discarded. No. Well, kind of. She didn't actually think that Trivia Regent was a particular asshole. But she started to have some suspicions about that.
So
She just
everyone...
thought he was oblivious.
So instead of... So your feeling of everyone's good when you get right down inside and just been hurt by the horrible world has been challenged. By Jackalor.
Generally. Yeah, he just seems like an asshole somehow.
Jackalor, how has your established way or way of viewing the world been challenged?
When it came to both the Ravnos and the Mary Wright.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, I can't just bullshit my way out of this? Don't tell anyone anything?
Yeah.
I can't just keep all my secrets myself?
Yeah, for an elder like him, it's like, why isn't this working? Okay,
Don't worry, it partially worked. You got the Kia seed on your side.
Bacon.
Also got to learn some things about the Rav.
I think that he is bad vision over low clans diminished a little bit when dealing with Jimmy.
Mm-hmm.
Like-
Okay.
The fucking gypsy peasant is. It looks like he's talking with Andy when he talks about finances.
Not quite, but it's clear that he has an education. Or at least street savvy, which can be just as important. Actually, I think intelligence finance-wise, he has as many dots as Andy, yes. Yeah, Andy is dumber, but more knowledgeable. So yeah, they're about equal in practice. And Halfdan.
Like the only thing I can sort of think about is really probably maybe a little bit of the prince, but mostly Jackalor. Like he just totally opposite of me, like let loose a little bit, man. He's like too conservative of me and not really like how to explain it. It kind of goes against me, I say, you know?
Okay, but you have run into assholes like that throughout your own life. That should be an established fact for you, shouldn't it? That some people
Yeah.
are like that.
Yeah, but the problem is now that I'm going to have to learn to live with him because I'm going to actually try and stay in one place for a longer period of time.
So he's essentially throwing you off because you can't just diss him and walk away.
A little bit, yes. I need to kind of, stand my ground and not actually run away anymore from the problems, and actually go like, stop, please.
Okay. So, the way this is gonna work with NPCs, generally they're gonna advance in experience. Other two circumstances, when they do something really active, like go on a mission, like what the Kiasid is doing might be worth like 2, maybe 3 XP points especially if she gets into trouble while scouting. Otherwise, they're gonna get some experience points when we have a time skip.
Yeah.
You generally are gonna advance through sessions because for elders they are settled in and they generally, I would say, learn when something knocks them out of their equilibrium for a bit and they have to adjust. So that's how we're gonna handle it. You're gonna be session to session, NPCs are gonna be based on time skips mostly. Did someone do a good or do a bad in an exceptional way this session?
Nothing truly exceptional.
Jackalor did surprisingly good. Not sure it's exceptionally good. But
Well,
it was
that's 'cause
surprisingly good.
That was due to our low expectations of him, honestly.
Yeah.
Hey.
I'll admit.
Getting that line on the ferries, though, that is a major win, if not exactly what he was expecting, because he got a lot of the information he wanted.
Yep,
At least,
immediately.
yeah, much of the obvious stuff.
So let's see. Wait, that means he probably knows about my location being a thing now.
Well,
Yes,
okay, don't.
you would
Oh,
know that
really?
ferries are
Oh.
in that area, at least
Yeah,
some of
because they're
them.
coming.
You wouldn't necessarily. Well, roll a luck dice difficulty 4, because she probably would know approximately where the freehold is.
Fuck.
Yeah, you know that the Malks maneuvered their way into sitting on top of a node, the assholes.
Fucking hell.
It's just. The gear seat leaves, it's immediately so. Oh, fuck me.
What? I just love how that ended up happening too. It was just a general. Oh yeah, somewhere around here. Let's see. I would like maybe here would be okay. This is a good backup though. Yeah, you can take up the backup. You don't want to be that close to the guy. Right where I want it.
I mean, there might or might not be necessarily reasons why people weren't right on top of, not necessarily obvious ones, but the key scene might have been, yeah, that territory has some other supernaturals. Maybe not quite there. And that ended up being like wide open. Oh, fuck.
God.
Okay, did any of the NPCs do particularly good? We can't go with a extra XP point to whoever did the best from the secondary cast of characters.
I actually really like the Ravnos.
Oh,
Yeah.
He
breaks the
did
mold
good.
on the Ravnos thing generally.
Generally, yeah. He also is very aware of what his position is and what it means in this city.
Oh yes.
Very refreshing.
Definitely.
Yeah, he knows who he can't afford to piss off. The ones that generally there are very few really young vampires among the independents. I think the Asmite is the only one. And the rest are smart enough to realize that, yeah, no, don't fuck with this guy. Make yourself useful, quick!
Yep. The Kia seed came off as naive to me, generally.
Mm-hmm. Well, she did not expect quite that level of mindfuckery.
Going into the Javier place, all of that. She came off as pretty naive in general. Just to me.
Yeah, 3 of them did go in there because, well...
He did awesome on the, inviting them and everything. Which I expected the other 2. The Kia seed, I was kind of like, oh, it's right in there. Well...
She, from her point of view, it was 2 ways it could go. Either Tremere would ignore her and try to freeze her out entirely, or they would try to work with her. So it was kind of fit into the mold of what she was expecting. She was actually the easiest to invite over, because it fit her expectations.
Oh. Okay.
And, given that she's playing in their sandbox now with being able to consult on occulting, so she figured she needs a relationship with them of some kind if she can manage it. It's safer than ignoring them.
I mean, I would have went for the ignoring them path just because of their previous history, but hey.
You are not aware. She's not aware the way you are of how incompetent Jackalor really is. She thinks
It's not even about Jackalor. I'm thinking of it in Tremere terms because of how they love experimenting and stuff. They would probably suck up so much time even if they would still let you out of the Chantry, just asking, can you come over here and see about doing stuff with us?
That's the thing. She doesn't have a problem with, working with them. That's her desired outcome.
Okay. I'd just be wary of working with them in that way.
Well, it's like Xandor with the Nosferatu. She's doing the same thing by playing in someone else's sandbox. Care must be taken, but she's essentially competing with him by offering some of the same services, so she needs some sort of understanding.
Yes, this is very true. She definitely needs some because she is in the same kind of...
Yeah, so that's the reasoning there. She doesn't have much choice if she doesn't want to eventually be forced to leave the city.
Oh, just to be clear, I actually don't have a problem with this or anything. At all. In fact, I really like it. I'm just saying, what I would do would be very different.
Yeah, but again, reputation comes into it. This fucker probably won't kill her outright, but pissing him off is still not a good idea. So, a polite invitation like that, saying no, could be interpreted in a sad way for her.
Yep.
But okay, that's the first session of Elders, or Puppetmasters of the Jyhad as we're calling it. So, feedback, thoughts, ideas. How did you enjoy it?
It was pretty fun. I kept feeling like I wanted to, add something in here. I want to do this. I want to do this and all this. Because, downtime. I want to use it.
Essentially, incidentals like sending a message. For now, the honeymoon period is still on. You can get a Malk to go over there and deliver it until you get like a goal of your own. So stuff like that, just assume it gets taken care of. And if there's anything specific other than the obvious stuff that you want to have taken care of, mention it in the coming 2 weeks, and I'll make a mental note that you have done that. It's just a matter of important moves, and we're trying to make sure that we are able to actually play a game that lasts decades instead of getting stuck in the first few weeks while everything explodes repeatedly. Jackalor, any thoughts worth sharing? If any.
No!
I mean, I know you're a Jackalor, but... Okay. Bacon?
Oh, it was great.
It's like people
I
are
was sad
actually...
on another part. I want to roleplay more. I want to go and hug random vampires.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Quick, I need to have an Elysium set up. Somebody, go,
Wait a
put up an
second.
Elysium.
That
Oh,
is
you're gonna hug
probably
me
gonna
too,
be a whole session, like the first meeting in actual Elysium.
Also, Epic, don't be complaining about not hugging people. You're gonna be hugging me soon.
Yay!
At that point, the Stockholm Syndrome has set in, and he's good and ready for you. Demi, any thoughts?
I fucking love this already.
Okay, so I'm gonna wrap the session here, and we will see you in a week for Dark Heresy, and in 2 weeks for another session of this. So see you then.